What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Live Beyond Average podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Miller. On today, final day of 2020, and I finally got one of my mics working. Finally got a mic set up for the podcast here. Kind of excited for the addition. We're rocking a couple USB mics here, and so me and Matthew played with it yesterday. Didn't realize with the setup we had we actually need two different brands of mics to work off of the same computer unless we're rocking a mixer. Really didn't want to buy a mixer off of the program we're using. So got one of the mics rocking today. And I almost feel like I'm talking quietly because I've always used like a boom mic, a shotgun mic for our audio. So I always spoke up a little bit louder. So I apologize today if I feel a little bit loud through this mic because I'm used to speaking up very loud, and now I can talk somewhat softer as I have the mic right here. I have actually have it turned down. I've been playing with it for the last 10, 15 minutes, just trying to find that right level. So I do apologize if I'm a little loud today because I speak loud. I usually do, so the audio picks up a little bit more clear. It's going to be a nice addition to the show, though, especially as we're going into 2021. Um, really looking to continue to expand the brands. Really looking to keep growing Run to Gun, to keep growing Seeker supplements, and to just reach new limits, reach new heights this year, push ourselves, and continue to be uncomfortable. Um, it's important for all of us. And that being said, the audience, the tribe that I have with Run to Gun, I know a lot of you have been with me a lot of years. Some of you might be newer. We've been doing this since 2011, and I've had a lot of you along for that whole journey. And obviously, the podcast has not been around that long, but 2021 really looking to grow. I'm really looking to get more of you involved with this. Um, have you be a more integral part of that community because that's what I'm looking to do is to continue to build community and build strength and build a group of people that really are truly trying to live beyond average. That this mantra that came about in season 2 and 3 of Run to Gun TV. It was supposed to be a one season mantra. Live beyond average was it, and it turned out not to be a one season mantra. We're doing season 8 right now. That mantra has stuck with me for that long because it truly was something that reflected on how I wanted to live my life. I wanted to live it beyond average. So many people step through life complacent, getting by, um, going with the flow instead of standing up and fighting and believing for what they believe in, standing up and fighting for what is right, raising their kids the right way, being a better husband or wife, being great in their relationships, being great at their jobs, their careers, their businesses. There's so many avenues, right? There's a million things we talk about. We talk about so many of them in the show, on the TV show, um, and how different things help us live beyond average. And so I want to get more of you involved. I'm going to be asking more of you during this year. There's going to be a lot of ways for you guys to get involved, and I'll be talking about them. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited to get more of you involved into the community and help you find your ways to live beyond average because that's the whole point of this, right? That is the point of this show. That is the point of my business is to share with you and to share my cup when it's overflowing to help fill your cups, right? That is the point of so much of life is for us to be able to lift each other up and to share. And so one of my things that I want to be doing more of in 2021. But this morning was really cool. I was in the gym, had all my morning clients. Was in the gym a little after 5 today. I'm recording this. It's about 11 o'clock right now. But I was in there and I was waiting for another client to get in, and one of my other clients was in the gym and he was doing one of his off day workouts that I write for him. And I actually haven't seen him in person since right before Christmas. And I caught up with him a little bit and we were chatting and talking about Christmas. And we got on the subject of something really interesting. I love talking with Jason. This is the guy I was talking to this morning because he's a dad as well. I look up to him in that sense. We have a lot of good conversations on the line of fatherhood, so I really enjoy our conversations. I look up to him, and he has older kids. I actually train his daughter. He has a daughter who's a freshman in high school, and a son who's a little bit younger. I think he's like 11, a little bit different. So I really like hearing his take on different parenting subjects, and we got on the lines of Christmas and our gifts, and we were both felt like Christmas was great, but we were both kind of like, man, I feel like we overdid it with our kids, and I'm pretty careful. Me and my wife are careful about obviously how much presents we're buying our kids. You feel like you spoil them, and I just don't want to raise ungrateful children. I don't want to raise spoiled children. Um, and me and Jason both got to talking about how we both felt like we overdid it on the Christmas gifts with our kids. And we both had to have conversations with our oldest daughters. Both of our daughters are the oldest in the families, and about being grateful for what they're given and explaining gratefulness and being happy, not comparing what your sibling got or what your friend got. And we were both kind of like backtracking and reverse engineering why that is. Why are they like that? What were we like when we were children? And we were both talking about how we both got less when we were kids, Jason and I. And I was definitely not spoiled, but I was not without by any means. My parents were amazing with coming up with what they gave us, and so we definitely were not without. Um, but we both stopped and we were talking about that mindset. And I hear it from so many guys and ladies, you too. I've heard it, and we tend to lean back and we're like, we want to give our children more than what we had, right? We hear that very constantly. Is we want to give our children better opportunities. We want to give them what we didn't have, whether that be opportunities, whether that be material things. A lot of different outlook there. When it comes to this subject, now I probably won't hit them all, but hopefully you're thinking of them in your minds. Um, and me and Jason both got to thinking like, are we doing our children a disservice by having that attitude of I want to give my kids more than what I had? And I think it can go. It's a double-edged sword, and I think can go both ways because obviously I think it is great to be able to utilize my work or our work, however you want to state that, to accomplish more, to create more opportunities for your kids. I think that's wonderful. On the flip side, I think it's wonderful. I don't want to leave that yet. I think it's wonderful because I'm doing that. But on the flip side of that, I also don't want to take away the hunger. And when I say that, I really mean as we grew up, and me and Jason both have the commonality of, hey, we worked for what we had growing up. My parents didn't buy me a vehicle. I went and took out a small loan, and then I worked to pay that loan off to have a '78 Ford through high school, to have a vehicle to get to the gym, to drive to school, to do those things. I chose to have that. I could have rode my bike, could have walked across town, but I wanted it. I didn't expect my parents, nor my parents would have bought me a truck to do that, but I wanted one. I bought a 1978 Ford for $3,600. Paid. I went to the bank when I was freshman, end of my freshman year. I said I could afford $100 a month payment, and the banker said, "Okay, let's set you up $100 a month. It was a little bit more than that with the interest. $100 a month. Be done paying on it when you're a senior. Perfect." And I went to an auction and I bought a 1978 Ford. Worked great. I got 5 miles to the gallon. So that being said, we both talked about how we were hungry for these things, and what did we do? We worked for them. I worked to pay for that vehicle, to make sure I had enough money to buy gas, to make sure I have enough money to make that loan payment every single month. And so there was a hunger there, right? And so we were talking about by providing all these things for our kids all the time and having that mindset of I want to give my kids more than what I had. I want to, yeah, all that mindset. And I think it's a great mindset, but I think it's a dangerous mindset as well. I think it has to be reeled in and careful. I think by you working hard and being further on in life maybe than what your parents were is wonderful, as long as you're self-aware and able to teach your children the difference and to teach them gratefulness and to do those things. So we're talking, and I really want to reel back on how I'm gift giving for my kids. right? They get so much during the year. They're not without. They're provided everything they need. But I don't want to take away that hunger for them, that when they're growing older, I want to make sure they have that same hunger. That is, I want to provide for my kids more than what I had. I don't want to take that away from them. I don't want to take that opportunity. We talk about providing more opportunity, but are we taking away that opportunity to have that mindset to, I want to provide more for my kids? I want to have the opportunity for my children to have that mindset as well. And so that comes falls back down on myself as the parent to be able to not spoil my children, to not overly give these things, not to provide every single thing that they want, not that they necessarily need, but to provide all of these things that they want. It is not my job as the parent to fill every single void in their wants versus me teaching how to manage those wants, how to manage what is actually wanted versus needed, and to provide what they need, not necessarily what they want. And so we had a great conversation this morning about that mindset and how as parents, like, are we taking away from that opportunity for them to have that mindset? And we both thought, I think that is part of a problem. That could be a problem moving into their future. And so great conversation this morning. One of those conversations I was really happy about to have, really to end the year too. Looking at it's New Year's Eve today. I was just really excited to be able to have that opportunity. Those spontaneous conversations with good people was awesome. We need to get Jason on the show down here and talk about his journey. It's been awesome. So I wanted to just close the year out with this short podcast, a couple of short thoughts to get you thinking about how you're parenting right now, how you're leading your family, how you're leading your kids, and how maybe some of you who will potentially be leading your kids. You might not have kids yet, but how you'll be a father or mother in the future, and just some thoughts for you to think deeper into your future parenting or your current parenting right now, and to think about, yes, you may be providing in the current for them, but are you taking away opportunities for them in the future by providing everything now? So it's a kind of an interesting thought for you to chew on today. So as we're going into 2021, I'm really excited. Let's carry some energy and some momentum and some positiveness into this year. I really want you to think today about what you want to accomplish this year. It's not the year anymore to sit back and put your dreams, put your ambitions and your goals on the back burner. It's time to put them in the forefront and to work on yourself, to work on those things, to build a betterment in yourself to accomplish what you're really meant to be doing here on earth. Time to get after it. I'm excited to be a part of it with you, and I am just pumped for this year. It's been a great 2020. It's been challenging, I know, for many of us, for many of you. And that being said, it doesn't mean that there isn't going to be more challenge in the future. There's always going to be challenge. Challenge is great. We want that. That is how we build ourselves. And so let's flip the script a little bit and look at the positive sides of those things and crush 2021. Let's get after it. I'm excited about the content coming out in 2021, projects we're working on, and the opportunities we have for many of you. Have a great rest of your day, you guys. And if you felt inclined, if this hit you, make sure to share it with somebody. That's one of those things I'm going to be asking of you. Screenshot the podcast if you're listening to it, share it with a friend. All of those things help us grow. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you later.